Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is an historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant, and we are called to love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. As we gather, we acknowledge that Arlington Street Church occupies the ancestral homeland of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations people. Good morning. Welcome to our Zoomers and welcome to the congregation gathered in person. I'm Lucy Humphrey. Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth are on summer sabbatical, as is Director of Music Mark David Buckles and the Arlington Street Church Choir. Worship Coordinator Patrick Cooleybeck and I are joined by Young Woon Cho and Andrew Stack. Thank you, friends. And a very special thank you to all our volunteers here in the sanctuary, tech team, greeters, and ushers. If you're new, we're so glad you're here. If you'd like to know more about Arlington Street, go to ascboston.org. There's a link where you can sign up for our weekly e-newsletter, Snapshot. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Good morning, all. A warm welcome to this morning's preacher, Lucy Humphrey. Lucy is a longtime member of Arlington Street Church and serves on our worship committee. She's a college student, a preschool teacher, a music lover, and a martial artist. She strives to bring loving kindness to her community and everyone she interacts with. I understand we have a coming of age group here from My Souls in Kansas City. Did you bring some barbecue? We'll talk about that afterwards. Welcome. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. For our guests here in the sanctuary, there are printed copies back at the great doors. As we begin our greetings, I invite the Zoomers and those here in the sanctuary with a device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from today. And now Rich will turn the camera on our sanctuary as we wave and smile at each other, as well as our friends in the Zoom room, and you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Our opening hymn this morning is number 126 in the gray hymnal and in the chat, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Arlington Street's own Reverend Gene Navius wrote the lyrics to the second and third verses, which should include the word lambkin instead of young lamb in the second verse. Please sing lambkin. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit, and sing together with Andrew Stack, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. While the hope of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us us ever to be faithful. May we still thy goodness prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the lambkin dwell together in thy home. Hear the cries of war fall silent, feel our love grow like the sun. When we all serve one another, then our heaven is begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us bind ourselves in union, help our hands tell of our love. With thine aid, O fount of justice, earth be fair as heaven above. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or a sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow into the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up front to the right of the Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious our beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
On Tuesday, Franco Mormando shared this message on Dan Mujo's Facebook page. With great sorrow, I write to let you know that Dan Mujo passed away on July 18th of complications from liver disease after 2 months in hospice care. He was a man of extraordinary talent in so many areas, from business to music and dance to party organizing, with an irrepressible zest for life. Despite a personal history of great trauma and emotional challenge from earliest childhood, he lived life enthusiastically to the fullest. And wherever he went, he gave generously the balm of his heartfelt empathy to those in need whom he met on his pilgrimage through life. May he rest in peace. A celebration of his life will be held on Zoom. on August the 6th. Dan Muho Presente. A candle of sorrow from Arlington Street at the passing of one of our members, Catherine Kelly. Catherine died last week after battling many health challenges. Her life was not easy, but in the not easy, she found pockets of light. She loved animals and young children and showed them her interest and kindness. She cared about social justice and loved our church. Her sister Liz reflected that Catherine always felt on the fringe and befriended those on the fringe. Many of us here can relate. From our beautiful sparkling fringe to wherever you are, Catherine, we send love and wish you peace. Catherine Kelly, Presente. Our final candle of sorrow is from Heidi Meyer. I am mourning Jean Monahan's sad death along with everyone. She was a joy and a treasure, wry, sympathetic, committed to family and friends, our community and choir, and to moral values. Jean Monahan, Presente.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A candle of joy from Susan and Art Judge. Joy on the birth of our great-grandson, Finn. Congratulations. And a final candle from me, from my hometown of Marquette, Michigan, where the local school board finally voted to remove the nickname Redmond from Marquette Senior High School, with a new nickname soon to come. Personally, I'm rooting for the Iron Rangers nickname because of regional and historic significance. At least 3 players stayed in Marquette after they retired and went on to teach at the high school. And 50 years ago this fall, 3 young brothers from Virginia, Minnesota came to town to spend their first seasons as professionals as Marquette Iron Rangers. All 3 went on to play at the highest level in the National Hockey League, but they are best remembered today as their role as the Hanson brothers from the movie Slapshot.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
The sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of our beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Our next hymn is number 151 in the gray hymnal and in the chat, I Wish I Knew How. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit, and sing together 151, I Wish I Knew How.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things I could say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I could share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that still keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things I can do. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I'm found I could fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing 'cause I'd know how it feels to be free. Then I'd sing 'cause I'd know how it feels to be free.
It is difficult to believe in the first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every being. But to believe in this principle means to practice it, to be the good and the kindness you wish to see in the world. A small kindness can change everything, and by practicing it, I think it becomes easier to believe it. A week ago, I was talking with my friend Jay. She and I have very different outlooks on life, I think in part based on our very different life experiences. We agree that I'm an optimist. I think that she's a pessimist, and she believes herself to be a realist. We have agreed to disagree. Our views of the world are fundamentally different and seem to be shaped by how we view people. I, to my core, believe that people are inherently good. She believes that people as a whole are cruel, that humanity has consistently done terrible things to one another. And honestly, I don't disagree. It's hard to look at the world as it existed in the past and how it has come to be now and believe that people are inherently good. I'm sure we all get asked this question a lot when we try to explain Unitarian Universalism. How can we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every being? The first principle is a difficult one to grapple with. To encounter the cruelty of the world on an everyday basis, in the news and on social media, is exhausting. When every news story is about the most recent injustice or act of violence, it is easy to become indifferent. That constant barrage of inhumanity makes it so difficult to believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every being. So how do we strengthen our belief in the first principle? If you'll indulge me for a minute, I want to talk about a song I heard the other day. Music has had a major influence on my life. I think in 1 year, I listened to over 100,000 minutes of music, which is more than 2 months' worth. I take a lot of my wisdom from song lyrics, a form of poetry in their own way. A new favorite artist of mine, Alex Walton, released 2 new songs in June. I was dancing in the kitchen of my apartment to the first song, but when I heard this line in the second song, I stopped. She sings, "Some people only come into your life for a short while. And these people who come into your life for a short while have the potential to change everything." I've heard sentiments in music before similar to that, but for some reason, she reached out to me through this song. Some people have the potential to change everything. Throughout my whole life, I've been involved in a lot of activist movements. It's the nature of my being. I have 2 very powerful moms. In school, I majored in classics and Africana studies. I focus my studies on how the past continues to affect the present and how we can use that knowledge to change the future. My education, both in school and out of school, has led me to a life of working towards meaningful difference. But sometimes, that pressure to create meaningful, long-lasting change gets overwhelming. How am I, as one person, supposed to tackle entire systems of discrimination? How can I, as one person, take on the cruelty of the world? It seems daunting at times. But this is where Alex Walton's message comes in. We don't have to change the world. We just have to change someone's world. For me, this seems a lot easier to manage. But if that seems like too much, I think we could make it even simpler. You don't have to change someone's world, just a moment in time. I think of small moments, like the woman who asked me to buy a coffee for her in JP. I was on my way to an interview when a possibly unhoused woman asked if I could buy her a coffee. I was late to my interview, so I said, "I'm sorry, I can't," and kept walking. But I kept her in my mind, and when I was walking home, I saw her again. I approached and asked, "Did you still want that coffee?" When she told me her order and I came back with a medium coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars, we formed a connection, if only for that moment. When I passed her by after doing some shopping, she said thank you again, and I haven't seen her since. The relationship might have been temporary, but it has meaning, and I can think about her today and smile, and hopefully she remembers my kindness as well. Or I think of the time I was waiting at the bus stop when it suddenly started pouring rain, and a man appeared out of nowhere and handed me this pink umbrella with a gold chain on it. I opened the umbrella and turned around to thank him, but he was already gone. I used the umbrella for a few months, and then one day, when I went to look for it, the umbrella was gone. Maybe I lost it, but I prefer to think it went to someone who needed it. When I think of magical realism, I think of that umbrella and the man who gifted it to me. Maybe these people didn't change everything, and I didn't change everything for them. But at the moment, I think we mattered to one another. I know it mattered to me. I see the kindness I am putting into the world and the kindness the world gives back to me. While I believe that people have inherent worth and dignity even when they are not kind, every act of kindness makes it easier to believe in that first principle. We talk in church about how we have gathered for love, service, justice, and peace, and I appreciate that we can feel that love within the church. The relationships we build here have such a positive impact on one another. When I come to church and I speak at the Gleason podium or even up here in the pulpit, I can feel the love and support radiating from the congregation. Believing in that message and in the first principle is so easy within the walls of this place. But we have to take that message of love, service, justice, and peace out of the church and practice it. I said earlier that it is easy to be indifferent. We can walk through life and ignore the people around us. It doesn't take any effort on our part. But kindness takes effort. Now, don't mistake being nice for being kind. Being nice is easy. Being nice is saying hi to the people in your office or the person you pass on the street. Kindness, on the other hand, often means going out of your way. I've always thought that people in Boston aren't nice. We're kind. We're often incredibly rude, actually. There's a reason we're called massholes. But we're kind. I saw proof of that on Monday downtown. As Jay and I were driving home, I saw a man who had fallen off his bicycle outside of the public garden. He was in the bike lane on the street. At first, we were concerned for this man, but then we noticed the crowd around him. One person was clearly on the phone with emergency services, while two others were making sure the man who had fallen was okay. But mostly, I noticed the man in the street directing traffic around the accident. He just stood there and made sure that no one was going to disturb them. All of these people were presumably strangers to the man on the bike, but they all took the time out of their day to ensure he was okay. That was kindness. That is why I believe people are good. I could see it for myself. Trusting blindly in the first principle is hard, but when I see people being kind, when I see proof of the goodness in the people around me, I find it easier to believe. So for me, the easiest way to see that on a regular basis is to become the kindness I want to see in the world. Our message of love, service, justice, and peace is wonderful, but only if we practice it. If we put energy into our relationships with people, if we become the kindness we want to see in the world, maybe we have the potential to change everything, even if only for one person. And with every proof of kindness, we become that much closer to believing that every being has that capacity for kindness. Amen.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 4, I think, of Andrew Sneaks Classical Music into Arlington Street Church while Mark David is away and cannot stop me. So, today we're doing Liebst du Schönheit from Gustav Mahler's Rückerlieder. I just want to give you a little bit of background. I promise it will not be an entire sermon. Gustav Mahler was born in Vienna. He was a very prominent Jewish composer and conductor, and was eventually run out of Vienna by the proto-Nazi movement at the beginning of the 20th century, where he fled to New York and became the first principal conductor of both the New York Philharmonic as well as the Metropolitan Opera. Not bad. His music is well known for being very fantastical and using all these different orchestral colors, even in a piano reduction. And these songs come from a set called the Rückert-Lieder, which are all poems by Friedrich Rückert. And Mahler had a tendency in his art songs to use them as more of a journal than, say, his symphonies or his orchestral works, which were much more for not starving to death, the eternal quest of every musician in the world. So this is Liebst du Schönheit. You can find the lyrics in the chat or in the order of service. Hope you enjoy.
Ich liebe, ich gebe dar, indeed. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, young one. Arlington Street Church is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us, and our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. During the summer months, our Share the Plate offerings are saved to use for future local emergencies and to help in rescue and rebuilding efforts following natural and unnatural disasters, amplifying our impact around the world. We thank you for your generosity. Lucy was the first worship coordinator at Arlington Street who I noticed bringing something a little extra to our pre-offertory pep talks, adding a personal touch to what could be considered the most unnoteworthy portion of our services. And soon we all joined in. Daryl Waters always brings a poem to share. Others share stories of generosity or loving kindness. I'm the loose cannon out of the whole lot. Sometimes I'll have a personal recollection. Often it's peppered with popular culture references. Hopefully someone laughs. Most of the time I don't know where the writing process is going to take us, but there's always a method behind the madness, and I do know how it's going to end about 2 minutes from now. Lucy is actually the second exceptional Lucy I've had the opportunity to have known during my lifetime. The first was my great aunt, Lucille Prista Milkarek, who was also my daytime caregiver during the first 3 years of my life. As such, I don't remember an awful lot aside from her love and the hugs. And Lordy, there were hugs, great big Polish babcia hugs. But I do recall a couple of things in particular. One was having a daily lunch together, usually grilled cheese and tomato soup, while we watched the Soupy Sales show on television. By his own estimation, Soupy Sales was hit in the face by more than 20,000 buys during his long career in comedy. There's a later clip from the Mike Douglas show where Mike's guests include Soupy, as well as Mo Howard from the Three Stooges, and you can raise your hand if you know how that situation is going to end. From somewhere during a vaudeville skit, somehow a cart full of pies is wheeled into the studio and the pies start flying shortly thereafter. I also remember the only person who had been hit more times by a specific object than Soupy, Bob Keeshan, who probably had 500,000 ping pong balls dropped on him during his 29-year run as Captain Kangaroo. There's structure to this running gag as well. The captain wishes to address some tomfoolery foisted upon him by the trickster puppet Mr. Moose and his sidekick Bunny Rabbit, and a discussion ensues, during the course of which Mr. Moose somehow maneuvers the captain into saying something related to falling objects, like Chicken Little or Niagara Falls, and it's once the ping pong balls come cascading from above, never failing to draw a laugh from the two of us. In one clip, the captain indignantly asks, "How come no matter how it starts, it always ends?" And Mr. Moose is bang on the spot with his reply, "Everything's got to have a finish." The finish here is asking you to please take a moment now and joining me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and supporting all the good work happening in our good name by filling our virtual collection plate. To give online or text your gift, go to ascboston.org. You can Venmo at Arlington Street or scan the QR code in the order of service. Or you can mail a check to us here at the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be handed to Lucy, me, or to any of our ushers after the service. Thank you for your generosity.
And now for something completely different. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one heart the heart you sing to. One smile that cheers you. One face that lights when it's near you. One someone you're everything to. Fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute. Where's the real stuff in life to cling to? Love is the answer. Someone to love is the answer. Once you've found them, build your world around them. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy, and you will be happy too.
in a minute. Where's the real stuff in life to cling to? Love is the answer. Someone to love is the answer. Once you've found them, build your world around them. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. And you will be happy too.
Andrew, thank you so much. I think actually make someone happy is my personal mantra, so here we are. If you'd like more Arlington Street in your week, please go to our homepage at ascboston.org. There are weekly gatherings in our Zoom room for loving kindness, meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m., Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth host an online tea party. All are welcome. Much more information and all the Zoom room links are at ascboston.org. To attend any of them, you don't have to be a member. You don't have to turn on your video or talk if you don't want to, and they're all free. All are always welcome. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join our virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, please answer yes to the breakout room invitation that will appear on your screen. If you're here in the sanctuary, you'll need to go to the Zoom room before the Postlude begins. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service and to all those who made it possible. Remember, we're all in this together. Our final hymn is number 292, If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking. The words can be found in the order of service and in the chat. Please rise in body, rise in spirit, and let's sing together, If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking.
If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life lie aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain.
Before our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the side of your square. And those of you in the sanctuary to please raise your hands, palm out. Let's send loving kindness to the people to your left and to your right, and to the people on either side of you and on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. In the words of Uncle Iroh from the television show Avatar: The Last Airbender, Sometimes the best way to solve your own problems is to help someone else. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.